Hey, what's up, everyone? Just going over some chess games today, and I stumbled on a really nice game. Well, it's kind of a fun game, fun for me, against a very strong opponent. That's why I like the game. Um, Dalmatinak from ICC in the 5 minute pool. He's 26-17, which is a super high rating in the 5 minute pool. I said in other videos, there are crafty ways to increase your level online. It's just playing up. You never play anybody lower than you. You just play up. You'll have significant number of losses, like, you know, win-loss ratio. You'll have like 3-1 losses, but you'll make rating points. That's why super's high-rated guys don't play down. Because if those 2700s went to a strong chess country like India, and they played a bunch of 2480s and 2520s, whoo, Lord, them ratings would be dropping down to Mariana's Trench. So, Dalmatinak is Ivan Saric, strong Grandmaster. Is Ivan Saric? I feel like he's Croatian. I think he's Croatian. I hope he's Croatian. Can we just look real quick, because I want to make sure I get that right. I think so. Ivan Saric, Grandmaster. Uh, let's see. Ivan Saric. He is. I got it right. Okay. Our Croatian Grandmaster friend, very strong. And but this is 2017. He got his GM title in 2008. So this is 2017. All right, he was already a monster. And this guy's peak rating was 2703 Fide. And look how I smoked him. I smoked Ivan Saric. No, he just blundered. I'm just messing around, but he didn't really. We had this Slav. Everybody's doing it. A lot of people are doing it. I had an eureka moment last night. Remember in the game I talked about a zillion lemons, and everything was. I didn't understand the position. I figured out what the hell happened finally. I had this kind of Slav setup, right, where Thorhausen, got the standard semi-Slav counterplay with the a6, b5, c5, and I was worse. I forgot that I had played bishop f6. I didn't have a dark square bishop anymore. That was the difference. You have to keep, when you go for these, I forgot I played bishop f6, queen f6. It was the h6 line. And that having the big center is not such a big deal. He has two bishops. I had to think of a different idea. I didn't understand it until last night. Just like lying in bed was bothering me. Okay, let's move on. Knight bd7. If you didn't see the Thorhausen analysis, I was upset. So bishop d3. This has been done only a billion times. Usually they go bishop d3 here, and it gets really sharp. It's a6, e4, c5. This is all thousands of pages of data sheets and documents up the wazoo. So, basically, I don't want to do any of that, because why let them play 30 moves of theory? Just even though it's not as good, it also might not be as well known. A simple move. I don't have my dark square bishop out, right? So my idea he's going to cast is just fianchetto the thing. It shouldn't be any advantage for me, but I had this with Ulf Anderson. It's almost similar to the game with Ulf Anderson. I've had this with, countless times I've had this kind of thing where I just said, okay, he's equal. This is probably a mistake. He should just play bishop out, bishop d6 or something. Maybe he didn't like that I'm taking on c5 and he's moving the bishop twice. But in reality, this position's quite fine for him. He could just put the rook on c8. And the truth is, maybe black even has small advantage because the pawns on a6 and b5 are better than my a2 b3 construction. You know, he has this. It's kind of a parallel situation, and my bishop on e2. I kind of have to move my knight away and trade it for the bishop on b7, right, and get bishop f3. But in taking this one, now, like, maybe I do have some edge because the bishop is now open. He helped me a bit. He let me get some central control with the two knights. And now I just get to trade this one. And here he just straight blunder. Well, I don't know if it's a straight blunder, but it's certainly not a good move. In fact, I analyzed it a bit. It's like, it's not in the analysis. So this one was a mistake. Yeah, he just has to. He's probably a little bit worse. So just for bishop c5, he should try. Bishop f3. Queen f3, something. But this one that he played, and I'll turn off the analysis. So, in fact, we'll hide it. And bishop d6, why is it bad? Why is it bad? Well, the bishop is hanging. Once I take this one, the bishop is on pre. And now he has to take this not to lose a pawn and just be lost. I mean, it's lost anyway, probably, because he has this lonely dude on e6, and we just come in and tap it right away. So Grandmasters tend to defend very well. So we defend it, and we get doubled rooks. So rook a7 was clever. And now probably have a lot of ways to be better. f3 comes to mind. Just f3, e4. Put the pawns on light squares. I have a dark squared bishop. This bishop is a monster. But maybe I'm not the best at timeouts. So I want to do something concrete. That's generally how I think. So I went for knight e2 to go target the weakness on e6. Also, like, if he plays e5 to stop the knight from going to f4, d4, I get rook c1. I take over the c5. I'm coming rook c6. I might even play f3 timeout first. Well, I don't know. Rook c1 probably to take the file first for sure. Then I get to slowly play f3 and e4. It should be quite bad. So he did this to make sure I didn't get that in, and now we went for the pawn. And I guess he didn't want to. Maybe e5 is possible, but he defended like this, knight c5. And so another sort of concrete move. Knight c6. I assume that knight c6, hits the rook and maybe threatens some knight e5s or maybe even knight d8s to come and attack the. What I was thinking was he would play rook c7, and then I would go knight d8 check, and on king e7 I have bishop a3, which is a very nasty x-ray to the king. The position should be quite bad. Yeah. I don't see any other move than rook c7. I mean, I don't know what can he do here. Rook a c7, knight d8, bishop a3, e5. I mean, bishop takes c5, rook c5. It's not as terrible as I thought, but it well, we'll look at this. We'll look at this later, but it's okay. Objectively, two supercomputers. It's probably gone already. But he just straight blundered And he went rook d7. And then I just forked him. And I went bishop a3, and now threatening rook d7. And now I get to take this because it's pinned. And then he tried one last trick, which was very clever. It's that last Grandmaster trick, you know. They always have that one. You got to be careful with them because they find every little last resource, you know. b4. So if I take it when he takes the rook, my bishop's hanging on b4. But we had a check, and that was the end of that. Because now I'm just going to eat the pawn, and it's gone. So bishop d6 was the lemon. I guess it shows the power of like offbeat systems. That you take your opponent out of book a little bit. Like this was just a straight lemon. But this position right here is already very bad. The only move to keep him in the game is rook here, and then this one. And you know, funny thing I just wanted to say, if he goes king g6, and if he goes king g6, right, you might think it's just pleasant to eat this one, but then he does get a rook c2, you know, and then the rook is pretty active. Like, if I have to eat that one to avoid losing this one, but then these two guys will be kind of forked, right? So I think the trick, if he goes king here, is to look at this position, right, and say, black can't do anything. He's frozen. So when your opponent is suffering and frozen, and this pawn's not going anywhere, you stop the counterplay. Boom. What a nice little move. We gain the space just like before. And there's really nothing to do. If you look at this one, it's really, really bad. Offering a5, bishop e5. But you see, by the way, if I had taken, you see, it's not even in the, oh, it is in the list. I mean, apparently I can get away with this and be better. But I mean, I wouldn't want to allow this. Why would I allow this counterplay, right? I mean, I understand, you know, this one defends that one. You know? It's still better for me. It's still better for me. Because this one's weak. Okay, I had to take this one. Still better for me. But you see the advantage drop by a whole pawn. The other one's +2. Maybe this one's, well, it's going to keep going as well. I mean, but I think the f3 is more beautiful. To just pass. Leave it as it is. I play like this. Okay, this is really bad position for black, right? So bishop d6 was the mistake, and this line isn't dangerous for white, but he has to not take on d4, right? Keep the tension, and just play here, and then dc, bishop c, and I assume I'm going rook c1, and then castles, and this is already like I have to find some really strong moves not to a4, huh? Wow, look at this. You got to go into contortions like this and swing this puppy back around here. But I don't believe this. I mean, anytime you're moving pieces backwards and forwards early in the game, but this is the kind of thing, if you have super powerful computer and a lot of time, maybe you can gain some. Maybe you could find something. I don't know. It's not that bad, you know. I mean, you do get a square. All right. This is where you'd have to start fooling around for a very long while. This makes sense. And then back this thing up. Try to start plopping knights in the house, and maybe this one's a little tenderoni somehow. And then you find that black is slightly better. See? So that's the way it has to be done, folks. Right? Okay. I hope you enjoyed this one. Ivan Saric is a monster in general. We only played a few times, I think, in the 5-minute pool, and so we were able to get him here. Okay, people, take care.